What is up, my blushing glams? Suck up it for me. It's your girl Blush, and I'm back with another Boss Babe University.
Chasing my dreams, all my boss babes in the paint. They know what I need.
All right. If you are a returning subscriber, hey girl, or hey guy. If you're new here, welcome, and I hope that you stay for the remaining of the video. But let me introduce myself. My name is Blush, and on this channel we do a little bit of lifestyle, beauty, sprinkled with a little bit of fashion, and we also do Boss Babe University, where we talk about how we can glow up financially together. All right, now that we got all of that out of the way, let's get it popping. So I was talking with a loved one a couple of weeks ago, and just pretty much trying to get a gauge on their credit worthiness. Now, I know asking someone how's their credit, unless you're actually needing their assistance credit wise, or if they're going to be purchasing something from you through credit, that can be a little bit of a personal or a touchy subject. But I do feel that in our community, in our circles of loved ones, with our family members, I feel like it's important for us to get out of that taboo of it being very personal and touch base on where we are at financially and credit wise. These conversations can spark up things that can allow you to be more versed in the financial world. Also, it allows you to be able to speak with someone who might have more experience in certain areas, or it could be an expert in certain areas, financially and credit wise. So anyways, to kind of circle back to this conversation, so I just was asking actually some of my siblings and stuff, okay, hey, where you guys at, what's your credit like? Some of them probably thought I was going to ask them to kind of like, hey, can you help me with something? But no, it's really, I genuinely wanted to know where we are at as a family unit, financially or credit wise. And some of their answers were like pretty okay. Some of them were like, well, I'm doing okay, but there are certain things that I can definitely work on. I began to actually, and if you hear something, sorry, it's my dog. So I began to ask, gauge a little bit more in regards to credit. And what I found is that a lot of us, including myself, because I really kind of had to learn these things in the most recent part of my life and my financial career, a lot of us don't really know how loans and interest rates works. And the crazy thing about it is, a large percentage of our life, a large percentage of the population, a large percentage of how the U.S. itself works is off of loans, banks and loans. So a lot of us may not be able to go into a closing of a home. Hey, I found a home I like. Go into closing and say I can go ahead and give cash to purchase this home. A lot of us are not able to do that. A lot of us may not even be able to go into a dealership and pick out our dream car, or just even a car that we need. Your car breaks down and you need to get another car. A lot of us cannot afford to go into a dealership, pick out a car and pay for that car cash. So a lot of us rely on loans, a bank, or majority of the time, footing the bill for us up front, and then us having to pay back that loan. But here's the catch. When you're paying back a loan, you're not paying back the loan at what you borrowed it for. You're paying back the loan usually plus fees and interest. And the thing about it is, a lot of us don't really know how interest works. All right, sorry if my setup looks a little bit different. My light went off on me, so I'm back at it again. All right, now, did you know a $10,000 loan can cost you more in interest? Okay, so let's talk about what simple or basic interest concept is. So the formula for the simple or the basic interest is I equals P times R times T. P is your principal, that's your loan amount. That's what you basically took out as your original loan amount. R is the interest rate. Generally speaking, that's usually the annual interest rate in decimal form. And then T stands for time. It's the duration of your loan. It can be in years, can be in months, whatever the duration of the loan is, but usually it'll be in years. Okay, so that's T. So that's the formula that's usually used for the basic and, or some may call it the simple interest concept. In other words, interest is basically the fee that you pay to borrow money. And the longer you take to pay it back, the more it's going to cost you. So what I want to do today, as your friendly neighbor, as your boss babe, let's talk about how we can boss up, how we can financially glow up, and not have to give these banks who already got all of the money, okay, more of our money. We want our money to stay in our pockets, okay, so that we can treat ourselves to nice things on self-care day, okay? All right, so let's give an example. So we can kind of get an idea of how, interest and loans pretty much work. We're going to use the example because I said, we talked about $10,000 in the beginning, right? Let's bring it back. Let's say you take out a loan that's $10,000 and your interest rate is 8%, which is okay, but it's still pretty high. And then the term of the loan is 5 years. If you make just the minimum payment, you could find yourself paying thousands extra in interest. All right, so what I want to go ahead and do is give you the value of this video, which is what can you do to, let's talk about paying off that loan faster. One big thing that you can do if you can afford to is to pay more on the minimum amount. And actually speaking, what I would actually recommend is when you pay more, contact your bank. So if it's for your vehicle, if it's for just like a personal loan that you took out, when you're paying that extra amount on your minimum, or if you're paying an extra amount within the month, contact the bank or the lender and find out if you make this extra payment, can this extra payment go towards the principal? Sometimes you have that option, sometimes you don't, and if you don't, that's okay. You can still go ahead and make extra payments on your minimum payment, and that would still help you bring the principal amount lower, or cause you to have to basically pay that loan off a whole lot quicker. Even if you're paying an extra $50 to $100 extra, can significantly reduce your interest. And that's the whole thing, because what you're paying most of the time is your interest. You'll find that especially like on those high interest loans, especially like if you took a personal loan out and you didn't have the greatest credit, or even if you take any loan out and you didn't have the greatest credit, you'll find that you're paying, and when you look, you're like, man, it doesn't feel like it's going anywhere, because it's not going anywhere. All that money is going towards your interest, and it hasn't even touched the principal. So when you're paying extra, contact the lender and see if that extra money that you're paying can go towards the principal amount. And if it doesn't, that's fine. As long as you're paying a little bit more than what the minimum amount is, you'll find that you're paying down your loan a whole lot quicker. Another recommendation would be maybe making bi-weekly payments. And all of this is if you can afford, because a lot of us are taking out these loans because we probably can't even afford to get what we're getting, and this is just a way that allows us to be able to obtain what it is that we're needing to get, whether it's a car, it's a home, whatever the item is. Getting the loan is just allowing you to be able to have that luxury, whatever that luxury is, if you don't have all the money up front. Now, if you have the money, my recommendations is to really kind of stay away from loans. If you can afford to just pay it outright, do it. Like, I was watching this guy today on TikTok, and he was talking about you know, like avoiding these postpaid phone services, like, you know, T-Mobile and things like that. Or if you are going to stick with those particular phone companies, to go on the prepaid side. So purchase these phones outright if you can afford it. Get a prepaid service, so you're still getting probably the same service of T-Mobile, Verizon, or whatever, but just go on the prepaid side. That way you have a set amount of money that you're paying every month, and you don't have to worry about the interest of the phone, the extra interest of paying that phone because you wanted to get the iPhone, or the latest iPhone, or the latest Galaxy or whatever. And so you had it added on to your bill, and now you're paying an extra $30-$40 every month. And it may not sound like a lot, but it does when you're tacking it on to your already probably expensive postpaid bill. So again, going back, if you can afford to pay for something outright, do that. If not, okay, and you have to get a loan, we're talking about how we can beat the system in essence. Making bi-weekly payments, that definitely can help significantly lower down the interest, or lower down the principal amount, which is what we want to do. We want to get that principal balance lower, because the lower the interest rate is, the lower the principal balance is, the less you have to pay on interest. Because remember, the interest is attached to the loan amount. It's attached to the principal. So the lower it is, the less you would have to pay in interest. Making one extra payment per year without noticing. These are things that can definitely maybe not significantly, but it can lower your interest or lower your principal amount, hence having you to pay less than more, because interest is what's eating at us. The other thing I would recommend also is to target high interest debt first. So if you're looking to pretty much, like if you're looking at maybe your debt and your finance, look at those debt that has high interest and tackle those first. Get those out the way, and then you can tackle the remaining of your debt, because the high interest is what's going to kill you. So if you can get that out the way, you'll feel a little bit more relieved when you're actually trying to pay down those debt. All right, so I hope that I was able to share something with you guys that is helpful, because again, the plan is for us to glow up financially and to do it together. I'm learning these things as I go, and as I'm learning these things, I'm gonna go ahead and share it with you, because I have been through a lot of things that I shouldn't have gone through. A lot of it was just pure ignorance, being hard-headed, stubborn, and just having to learn the hard way. So I had to learn the hard way so that you don't have to. So again, to close out this message, this Boss Babe University video, let's pay down those loans faster. The faster you pay the principal, the less the bank profits. And we want that money in our pockets and not in the bank pockets. So let's get it. Let's get it, Boss Babes. All right, until next time, peace.